types of the xylem which is based on origin. Write down the title. एक second. So write down the title. We are talking about types of xylem, and such type of the xylem, it is totally based on origin. It's based on the origin. Now on the basis of the origin, we are talking about the two types of the xylem. Primary xylem, who form first, obviously primary xylem, and the second one, secondary xylem, who form later. So on the basis of the origin, we are talking about two types of the xylem. Number one, primary, and the another one we are talking about, that is secondary. Okay, primary as well as the secondary. Now first of all, we talk about what is the meaning of the primary, what kind of the function they perform, and different conditions. So first of all, we talk about only primary. So write down the first part. We are talking about primary xylem. When we are talking about the primary xylem, basically they arise from the procambium. Sorry. Arise from procambium. So what is meaning of the procambium? So we are talking about, that is procambium. Okay. Now, what is meaning of the procambium? Suppose I'm using the one word like कौन है last chat box में? Yash. Okay. So suppose we are talking about the yash. Yash, it has the three names: pro yash, yash, and the post yash. Simple. So we are talking about pro yash. Now normally yash, and finally we are talking about the post yash. Suppose. So what you understand from this thing? Yash means what? We are talking about, that is mature one, that is adult one. Normally yash. Pro means what? Pro means these are the young stage, very juvenile stage. That's why we are talking about, that is pro. When you are using the pro word, when is this any cambium? Is this any tissue, any cell? When it is very young, when it is very juvenile stage, that time we have to use, that is pro word. So yash basically adult. Before adult, whatever the stage are there, that is young stage or the juvenile stage, that time we have to use the word pro. And what is meaning of the post? Post means what? Old one. After maturation, after adult stage, now they start degeneration. They undergo the apoptosis process. Similarly, whenever we are using the pro word, pro means what? These are the juvenile stage of cambium. And you know very well, cambium basically, these are the one type of the meristem who form different types of the cell. So simply we are talking about, that is part, that is cambium part, right? So simply we are talking about part, that is cambium part. Cambium part, basically these are the young part. So here we have to mention, that is procambium. Pro means what? There is a juvenile stage. So on the basis of that, we are talking about primary xylem. Basically they arise from the procambium during formation of primary part of the plant. During formation of primary parts of plant. So obviously, when there is a initial growth, when there is a formation of the primary part, that time again there is a formation of the procambium. Okay, simple meaning. Primary xylem arise from the procambium, and procambium basically they present during the juvenile stage, they present during the young stage, or whatever we are talking about, they are present during the primary part. Now next part we are talking about one thing, the glory of this chapter exactly. आप कहीं से भी start करो, कहीं से भी start करो. You can read xylem, you can read phloem. It's not connected with the previous one because each and every part is different. For example, हमने start किया meristematic. Meristematic, it is having different characteristics, functions also different. When you start about the parenchyma something is different. Collenchyma different है, sclerenchyma different है. If you talk about the vessels are different. So ऐसा नहीं है इस chapter में कि previously think it is linked to current now, and it's not a link chapter exactly. Each and every point is a separate point. तो आप कहीं से भी इसको start करो. It's your choice. If you want to read first of all xylem, yes, you can start with the xylem because it's exactly glory of this chapter. बिल्कुल भी link नहीं है. It's not link. Same for the morphology. Root part different है, stem part is different, flower part is different, inflorescence part is different. So your choice. If you want, you can read anything. Same for this chapter. each and every chapter, each and every main point is a different, कोई भी linkage नहीं है. So when you start reading xylem, you can end with xylem, then you start with the meristem, because कोई link वाला point नहीं है. Today I'm talking about the xylem. You know very well, xylem basically is responsible for the water conduction, right? So on the basis of that, we are talking about two types of the xylem: primary xylem and the secondary xylem, right? Based on the origin. So don't worry, न्यू स्टूडेंट्स मैं लूंगी, इट्स माय रिस्पांसिबिलिटी, आई विल कवर योर सिलेबस. हाँ, मैं गुस्सा हूँ आपसे, यस मैं नाराज हूँ आपसे, बट आई विल डू माय जॉब. आप नहीं कर रहे हो, इट्स योर चॉइस, बट आई विल डू दैट. ठीक है. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट प्राइमरी xylem. Definitely they arise from the procambium and they form primary parts. They form during the early stage where the primary plant growth is get initiated. Similarly, we are talking about this primary xylem. They divide into two types. Next part. Divide your page into two parts, because now we are taking this some important point. So this primary xylem who arise from the procambium during the initial stage, they are divided into two types. Number one, protoxylem, proto, and the another one metaxylem. नाम से पता चल रहा है, proto means what? Primitive, right? Meta means what? Later stage, बाद में develop हो रहा है. So on the basis of that, primary xylem basically again they divided into two parts. Number one, protoxylem, and the another one that is metaxylem. So quickly we are talking about difference between protoxylem and metaxylem. Chalo. So draw one table. We are taking few points, and this point is important. And ये जो point है, these are the again 100% similar to phloem, because later in case of the phloem we again discuss primary phloem. It is divided into two types: protophlloem and the metaphlloem. But suffix will be changed. Everything same, information is same for the xylem and the phloem, only for this part. Chalo. So first of all, we are talking about what is meaning of the protoxylem. Obviously proto means they form first, so simply we are talking about they form first. That's why it is called as protoxylem. And when we talk about the metaxylem, meta means what? They form later. That's it. Next point, we are talking about what part it is present and absent in case of protoxylem and the metaxylem. So first of all, we are talking about first part, that is trachary element. Trachary element. Trachary element, nothing but we are talking about there is a presence of the xylem and the phloem, right? Xylem and the phloem. First of all, we are talking about. So whenever we are talking about the trachary elements, like xylem parenchyma, is present. First part, xylem parenchyma is present, but when we are talking about fiber, that is xylem fiber, because they form later stage, they provide the mechanical support. So xylem fiber is absent. Okay. So quickly we are talking about the few points, that is what is the development stage. Obviously whenever we are talking about the trachary elements, yes, trachary elements are present. Another one, inside the trachary elements, एक minute, like को हटा देते हैं, I'll give the directly numbers better.
Excuse me, ma'am.
हाँ.
What is trachary?
Trachary means xylem and the phloem. एक minute, I'll write this part. Trachary elements what? Who responsible for the conduction. So you know very well, xylem it is responsible for the conduction, and the xylem it is divided into four types of the cell: vessels, tracheids, now the xylem parenchyma and the xylem fiber. Yes. So now here we are talking about only one part. There is a presence of the trachary element, nothing but that is first of all tracheids, and the number second, that is vessel. So tracheids, vessel present, xylem parenchyma present, but xylem fiber absent. Out of four cells of the xylem, only fiber is absent, because what is meaning of the main major function of the fiber? Fiber major function mechanical support. And you know very well, if plant is during the primitive stage, plant it is having very juvenile stage, plant बहुत young है, so that time there is no requirement of any mechanical support because wood formation, fiber means what, wood formation. And always remember, wood formation it's initiated at the later stage. जब plant young होगा तब उसके body के अंदर wood formation नहीं होगा. Wood formation, these are the part of at the later stage because plant required the mechanical support. When plant height increase, when plant leaf number increase, branches increase, stem increase, that time ultimately uska weight zyada hoga, it achieve their weight. So to balance that weight, to support that weight, it's required mechanical support, and that mechanical support provided by fibers. So definitely three parts is present, means trachea is present, vessel present, as well as xylem parenchyma present. But when we are talking about the fiber, like xylem fiber it is totally absent when we are talking about which part, that is protoxylem, primitive stage. When you compare this point with metaxylem, so metaxylem obviously they form later, so all those type of the cell they are present, means what, first one we are talking about, that is tracheary element like xylem and the phloem, tracheary element present hoga. Number second, we are talking about xylem parenchyma. I'm using for X only for the xylem. If you want, you can write down the full form. I'm just using the X. So xylem parenchyma also present. And along with that, we are talking about the third part, that is xylem fiber also present. Okay, all these part are present. Change kahan pe ho raha hai? See, we are talking about there is a fiber, and why fiber is present? Obviously, if fiber is present, they provide a mechanical support. Next part, you have first point, difference between the protoxylem and the metaxylem, who form first, who form later, and on the basis of that, which cell present and which cells are absent. Okay, now we are talking about why fiber is absent. Second point, why xylem fiber absent? Simple reason है, because whenever we are talking about the protoxylem means these are the initial stage, and you know very well, during the initial stage, height of that particular plant is very small, or height small is, so there is no need of mechanical support, right? So we are talking about why xylem fiber is absent, because height of plant is small, and that's why there is no need of mechanical support. No need of mechanical support. Okay, that's why whenever we are talking about the part like protoxylem, during the protoxylem fiber absent but rest of structure is present. And definitely here we are talking about, obviously, second condition, why xylem fiber is present, because they form later stage, and obviously height of the plant it is get increased, and if height of the plant is get increased, it means that it's required mechanical support. So simple, we are talking about why xylem fiber present in metaxylem, because height increase, that's why it is required mechanical support. That's it. Height increased, so obviously there is requirement of mechanical support. ठीक है, चलो डन डन.
मैम वेट.
हाँ हाँ हाँ. Hmm. $54. चलो, should I continue? Okay, शिफा, yesterday class notes मैंने शेयर किए हुए हैं, आप एक बार देख लीजिए. चलो, third point we are talking about size of tracheary element. So next point we are talking about tracheary element, and just I discussed tracheary elements means what? Xylem, tracheids and the vessels. Those are responsible for the water conduction. So tracheary elements are present, and these are the tracheary elements. Basically, they are small size. Obviously, because it's a part of the protoxylem, and protoxylem means what? Size is obviously it is small. When you talk about this part, when you compare this with metaxylem, so such type of this tracheary element, they are present in large size. So size basically large. It's dependent. नाम से सब कुछ है. That is proto and the meta. Now next one we are talking about obviously size of the tracheary elements is very less, and they are responsible for the less water conduction, because अगर size छोटा है, obviously tracheids and the vessel, these are the two major cell who responsible for the water conduction. If size of that cells it's small, ultimately they can transfer, they can conduct water in less amount. So on the basis of that we are talking about small size of the tracheary elements. That's why similarly इसको हम continue कर रहे हैं. That's why the lumen of tracheary elements, they are narrow. Lumen of tracheary element, and I hope you remember lumen means what? Central part, right? Central part, that is called as a lumen. So lumen of that tracheary element, basically they are narrow. Obviously, because if small size tracheary elements are present, small size vessels are present, small size tracheids also present, तो जितना भी internal part होगा, that internal part, that is a narrow. और अगर narrow होगा, so ultimately they can conduct less water, because size of that pipeline it's very small. But when you compare this point with proto metaxylem, so obviously they are having broad lumen.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sanika.
Ma'am, could you please scroll up?
So narrow lumen and the broad lumen of tracheary element. And tracheary element is not, if you read modules, आपको वहाँ पे भी word मिलेगा tracheary elements. Even in NCERT also you will get the find word tracheary elements. Tracheary elements means xylem, vessels and the tracheids, main pipeline who responsible for the conduction of water. Actually main vessel है in angiosperm, but tracheids also involved. Done. Chalo, done this part. So these are the exactly difference between protoxylem and the metaxylem. Done. Yes or no? कुछ तो बोलो.
Done, ma'am.
Done. ठीक है. So these are the primary xylem. Two types. It is divided into two types, proto and the meta. Just focus on the word. Proto means they form first. Meta means they form later. So whatever the arrangements are present, it is according to that. Okay? चलो. Now we are talking about a neat favorite question. हर साल इसके ऊपर question होता है. That is exarch and the endarch. Very, very important point. Okay? So we are talking about part that is exarch or exarch, your choice. Exarch, and the another one we compare this point with endarch. Okay? Now, so first of all we are taking the diagrammatic representation, and exarch and endarch, it is totally depend upon arrangement of protoxylem and the metaxylem, who form first, who present where, on the basis of that. So similarly, quickly we are talking about the diagrammatic representation. Suppose first of all we are talking about the exarch condition. Exarch condition means we are going from outer to inner. Suppose the outer side, and now from outer we are talking about toward the inner, means periphery to center. Outer to inner or periphery to center. Now, in case of the exarch condition, protoxylem, that is small size. Obviously, proto means they form first. So the protoxylem basically they present toward the outer side. Okay, so these are these very simple. We are talking about there is a presence of the protoxylem. And where the protoxylems are present? Protoxylem basically they are present toward the outer side. Obvious. Proto means what? Who form first, right? Who small in size. Just check your mic. Check your mic. Chalo, thank you. So exarch. Exarch means eggs means what? Outer side. Outer side. So protoxylem they present toward the outer side. Who form first? And toward the inner side, large size metaxylems are present. Like this. So suppose this white color, nothing but we are talking about metaxylem. And where such metaxylems are present, they present toward the inner side. They present toward the center. So such type of this arrangement, these are called as the exarch. Exarch means what? Protoxylem outer side, metaxylem inner side. Got it? Protoxylem outer side, protoxylem present toward the periphery, metaxylem they present toward the inner side. Such type of the exarch condition, it's very much common. It is present in case of dicot and the monocot root. So example we are talking about, it's very much common in case of the root of dicot as well as root of monocot. So in case of the entire angiosperm, in root they are showing exarch condition. And what is meaning of the exarch? Protoxylem present toward the outer side. See, yaad rakho kya? Exarch. X means what? Outer side. Suppose outer side. And young cell juvenile stage, that is protoxylem, they form toward the outer side. So such kind of this condition, simply it is called as the exarch condition. Exactly reverse hoga with endarch. Endarch means what? Now we are talking about protoxylem they present at the center and the metaxylem they present toward the outer side. So see how it is look. Large size, mature size, these are the cell metaxylem, right? And such metaxylem basically they present toward the outer side. And the young cells, very juvenile stage, simply we are talking about that is protoxylem they present toward the inner side. Protoxylem. And such type of this protoxylem, these are the present, they present toward the inner side. So such condition, such type of the scenario, it's very much common in case of the stem of dicot and monocot. So stem in case of the dicot as well as in monocot. So obviously in case of the entire angiosperm, such condition is present. Got it? Got it? Any doubt from this point? It's very important point, okay? Exarch and endarch. If you read NCERT, you will get the clear-cut idea. But remember only one thing. Exarch condition present in case of the root. Endarch condition present in case of the stem. Exarch means what? Protoxylem present toward the outer side and metaxylem present toward the inner. Exactly opposite in case of the endarch. Protoxylem they present toward the inner side, endo, toward the inner side, and the metaxylem they present toward the outer side. Got it? Any doubt? चलो complete करो and let me know. So हम done. Okay, चलो. Now all this information about the primary xylem. Next part we are talking about secondary xylem. Second point, on the basis of origin. Next point, secondary xylem. So we cover primary xylem with their types with enlarged and the exarch condition. Now we are talking about the secondary xylem. Secondary xylem, obviously secondary, it means that they form at the later stage. And whenever we are talking about secondary xylem, basically they arise from vascular cambium. They arise from vascular cambium. So we discuss in upcoming classes what is meaning of the vascular cambium in detail. ये भी cambium ही है, it's a cambium, but जैसे हमने कहा था ना, for example herum, proherum, postherum, so it is a one kind of the herum, means mature one, mature cambium. That's why we are using cambium and the name that is vascular. ना ही हम यहाँ पे word include कर रहे pro, ना ही हम word use कर रहे post, because pro means primitive stage, post means old stage. We are using cambium, but more specifically we are talking about the vascular cambium. Okay, so that is the young stage, that is a, sorry, that is a mature stage, that is the adult stage, where cambium they are showing highly active, they are showing the high activity. So basically they arise from vascular cambium during during formation of during formation of secondary growth of plant parts. Secondary growth means what? Diameter of the plant will increase, girth will increase, wood formation will be enhanced, plant become very vascular, plant become very mature. It means that they are showing the adultness. So that time obviously they form from the vascular cambium. Now we are talking about types of the secondary xylem.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hmm.
What is cambium?
uh, it's a cambium. Sania, is this your first class or second class?
Means, ma'am.
So we are talking about what is meaning of the cambium. Should I continue? आपने कैरोट देखा हुआ है, ऑब्वियस है. सपोज इन केस ऑफ कैरोट, सपोज ये कैरोट है. कैरोट कंडीशन, हमने यहां से इसको कट किया. We cut this part and now we are taking the some condition, means we are talking about some internal view how it is look. Suppose we cut, we take a very slice section, we are taking one transverse section and we are observing under microscope, so how it is look. Suppose we are talking about that is part of cambium. These are the one slice and this slice, suppose we are talking about these are the one vascular bundle, single vascular bundle. Suppose singular vascular bundle means what? Vascular bundle, basically we are talking about these are the consist of the xylem plus phloem, means these are the one kind of the bundle who responsible for the food conduction as well as the water conduction, दोनों को combine करेगा. So now what happened? Xylem, you know very well, the responsible for the water conduction, phloem responsible for the food conduction. But now what happened in case of the dicot, in case of the dicot as well as in case of the gymnospermic plant, dicot and in case of the gymnospermic plant, such type of the cambium is present. And what is the main function of the cambium? Cambium, they can separate xylem and phloem from each other. So suppose we are talking about these are the dicot vascular bundle. In case of the dicot, at the center यहाँ पे present होगा cambium. Suppose these are the present of the cambium, and cambium what? Cambium basically these are the one kind of the meristem. जिससे हम कहते हैं ना कि in our body animal, what we say that is stem cells are present. We are specifically you are using word stem cells for the animal. So similarly when you talk about the plant, that time we have to use word meristem. Meristem means what? कोई तो young tissues है, these are the very young cells who form a different parts, who form a leaf, who form a shoot, root, सब कुछ form कर सकता है. That's why we are talking about the meristem. So cambium, nothing but these are the one kind of the meristem. So now what happened? Cambium, they are sandwiched, they get sandwiched between xylem and phloem. They get sandwiched between xylem and the phloem. So cambium means what? Cambium basically these are the characteristic feature which is present in gymnospermic plant and only in case of the dicot. In case of monocot, cambium is absent. And cambium basically it's one type of the meristem. It's behave like a stem cell. They form a different means what? They form a new xylem. They form a new phloem because it's a one kind of the meristem. And how it is located? They get sandwiched. Exactly, they get sandwiched between the xylem and the phloem. Got it?
Okay, so ma'am, intrafascicular cambium and cambium are one and the same.
See, whenever we are using the cambium, it means that is that the one kind of the meristem. When you are using any word, for example, intrafascicular cambium, that is a different. Interfascicular cambium, origin get different. Vascular cambium, origin different. Ring cambium, origin different. Wound cambium, origin different. Common word is cambium. Cambium means what is one kind of the meristem. So it is depend upon at which cell at which time, means primary stage or secondary stage. On the basis of that it will be get divided. We'll see that part is secondary growth. Don't worry, ये जो पूरा part है ना cambium meristem
Understood,
interfascicular
ma'am.
cambium, we'll see in second part, that is secondary growth. Okay, just remember cambium, these are the one type of the meristem and they can form all type of the cell like primary xylem, secondary xylem, primary phloem, secondary phloem. Got it?
Got it, ma'am.
Hmm. एक सेकंड. Yeah, it's visible now. Hmm. Hiram, it's visible now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So now we are talking about types of the secondary xylem to form at the later stage. Just try to understand this word. We are talking about two types. Number one, that is axial system, or these are also called as the vertical system. These are also called as the axial, or simply we are talking about vertical system. Now, second part, we are talking about radial system, and this radial system also called as horizontal system. So we try to understand how to remember this concept. So first of all, we are talking about what is meaning of the vertical or the axial system. You know very well, we are talking about the secondary xylem. Secondary xylem, they form at the later stage when plant is become mature. That time what happen? Obviously, water always showing conduction in a vertical manner. Normally ऐसे ही होता है. Inside the soil, water concentration is very high. Root absorb the water and slowly they transfer toward the upward part of the plant. So from downward to upward water movement. तो कैसा movement हो रहा है? Basically they are showing the vertical movement. Yes or no? So vertical movement means what? Now we are talking about water movement from bottom to top. So obviously water they can easily move, because inside the soil water concentration is more, and root they can absorb the water, and slowly water transfer each and every part of the plant through with the help of the xylem. Now such type of the system where we can transfer the water in a vertical manner, in a vertical direction, such type of this condition, these are called as the axial system. Got it? Now another one, we are talking about the radial system. Radial system means what? Horizontal. Horizontal means what? Obvious hai, plant basically they are conduct the water from bottom to top in a vertical direction. But sometime what happen? There is some specific cells also present who provide water in a horizontal manner. Horizontal manner means what? We are talking about conduction of the water in a radial manner or surrounding cell. For example, I'm sitting in the center. Suppose मैं सेंटर में I'm in center. एक रिंग बनाओ मेरे साइड से, फॉर्म अ रिंग. In front of me, left side, right side and the back side, 4 students are sitting. मेरे पास एक आइसक्रीम है. मैंने क्या किया? मैंने आइसक्रीम फ्रंट वाले को भी दे दिया, बैक वाले को भी दे दिया. Who is sitting towards my left, मैंने उसको भी दे दिया. Who is sitting towards my right, मैंने उसको भी दे दिया. So now what happened? One ice cream has circulate to all in radial manner, in a circular manner. So what is meaning of the radial system? Particular one tissue, for example me, I'm the secondary xylem part, I'm the tissue, and I'm providing water to my surrounding cell. मैं vertical horizontal share नहीं कर रही हूँ. Not, I'm not sharing water toward my above my head, I'm not sharing water toward the downward direction. I'm sharing water, I'm sharing ice cream in my front, in my back side where I'm sitting, in towards my left and towards my right. तो एक कैसा arrangement हो गया? Radial arrangement, right? I'm sharing water towards my surrounding cell. No, not, it's not a vertical. Such kind of this condition, these are called as the horizontal. Got it? Left, right, front, back, जितने भी मेरे surrounding में cells है, in a radius, in a radial manner, I'm sharing water to all those cells. Such type of this system, these are called as the horizontal system or radial system. Got it? This point is clear? Yes or no? Do you understand this point? What is the meaning of the axial system and what is meaning of the radial system? Normally plants are providing water, हाँ, from bottom to top in a vertical manner. उसी तरह से होगा. But there is some cells also present who provide water to surrounding cells in a radial manner. Front, back, left, right. Upward नहीं direction कर right. Up, not, no upward, not toward the bottom. It's sharing the water towards the neighbor cell, which is present in a same radius. Such type of this arrangement basically is called as the radial system. Like this. Okay, radial system. Yeah, so now we are taking the exactly difference and main function with example between the axial system and the radial system. First of all, we are talking about the axial system. Inside the axial system, all types of cells are present. Means first of all, the major tissue for the water conduction, that is vessels. Yes, vessel present. Another one, that is tracheids. Second, pipeline. Yes, tracheids also present. Third one, we are talking about, there is a presence of the xylem fiber. हाँ, xylem fiber भी present होगा. And finally, we are talking about, there is a presence of xylem parenchyma. That is also called as the wood parenchyma. Yes, it is also present. So all these 4 types of the cell which is come under the xylem part, everything is present, right? But whenever we are talking about the function, so I hope you remember हमने पहले discuss किया है, tracheids and the vessels basically they are performing major function in water conduction. सभी मिलके काम करेंगे definitely. All these are the part of the xylem, but if we are talking about the exactly pipeline, जैसे हम word use करते हैं ना pipeline, through that pipeline we have to transfer the water. So vessels and the tracheids basically, and out of this you know very well, vessels, these are the major one. Vessels, these are the most advanced, these are the major one who involved for the water conduction. So vessels and the tracheids basically the major function, they are performing the water conduction. While when we are talking about the fiber, obvious है, fiber they provide the mechanical support. इसका second function हो गया. But when we are talking about the parenchyma, this parenchyma basically they are responsible for the storage of food. Storage of food in vertical manner. in vertical manner, in vertical fashion, in vertical direction, or in vertical pattern. Vertical को please underline करो, because here we are talking about xylem parenchyma. They store a food in a vertical manner, means upward and the downward. Store भी करेगा and they supply also, because it's a part of the parenchyma. When you compare this point with radial system or the horizontal system, some different cells are present. Like, very unique, we are talking about there is a presence of one specific type of the parenchyma, that is ray parenchyma. There is a presence of which parenchyma? Ray parenchyma, only single and the very unique cell. So what is the function of the ray parenchyma? Ray parenchyma, basically they responsible for the food storage, but in a horizontal manner, not a vertical, because here we are clearly mentioned one point. Xylem parenchyma means they are living, they are performing the photosynthesis, they can synthesize the food as well as they can store a food. So xylem parenchyma, obviously they performing a function, that is storage of food, but in a vertical manner, because it is a part of the axial system. When you compare this point with the ray parenchyma, ray parenchyma also they are having function, that is food storage, but in radial manner, in horizontal direction. तो अपने सराउंडिंग को फूड सप्लाई करेगा, नॉट अपवर्ड एंड नॉट टुवर्ड द बॉटम, बिकॉज ऑलरेडी जाइलम पेरेन्काइमा दे आर प्रोवाइडिंग अ फूड इन अ वर्टिकल मैनर. तो जितने भी मेरे सराउंडिंग के सेल्स है, that cells means the ray parenchyma, it's provide food in a horizontal direction. So if you want horizontal direction, you can write down surrounding cell, neighboring cell, or left, right, front, back, such kind of the cell. The cells which is present in a radial manner. Got it? And the another function, it is also responsible for the water conduction. It's also responsible for the water conduction, but in a again horizontal direction. मतलब मेरे surrounding में जितने भी cells है, all those cells means left, right, front, back, all those cells they get water from ray parenchyma, not from tracheids, not from vessels. Okay, so basically it will be in a horizontal direction. Chalo, please complete this part. Ray parenchyma, it's very important, you have to remember, because already one question asks what is the main function of the ray parenchyma. I'm telling you again, ray parenchyma, basically these are the part of the secondary xylem. Obviously secondary xylem is what they form at the later stage. In this condition, during the, no Yash, it's not frozen dear. एक मिनट में चेक कर रही हूँ. No, no, Vaibhavi. Okay, okay, I'll wait for a few seconds. Just have patience. Explain this part again.
The screen is not visible.
Okay, got it, got it. Wait, I'm sharing again. Now, now, okay. So, कहाँ पे थे? I'll explain this part again. You return water conduction part. Where Rishikesh? Water conduction, but in a which direction? In a horizontal direction. Okay, okay, got it, got it. Okay, just complete this part and let me know once you finish. So these are the part with respect to secondary xylem. थोड़ा सा मेहनत है एक्चुअली, बस ये जो पार्ट है ना, एग्जैक्टली दिस पार्ट इज सिमिलर टू प्राइमरी फ्लोएम एंड दी सेकेंडरी फ्लोएम, तो ज्यादा मेहनत नहीं लगेगा. once you did this part, now that is a common for xylem as well as the phloem. So again and again this part is get repeated. थोड़ा सा चेंज होगा, माइन्यूट चेंज, बट मैक्सिमम पार्ट इज सिमिलर. Done. Okay, chalo. Now all this information about the xylem. So quickly check what we discussed about the xylem. Just change your, just see the back pages. We started with the xylem. Xylem also called as the hydro because it is responsible for the water conduction. Along with that, we discussed xylem. It is having the 4 types of the cell: tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem fiber. All the cell it is present in angiosperm. हमने ये भी देखा था which one is the living cell, which one is the dead cell, and what kind of the cell wall composition present with their function. When you compare this point with the gymnosperm, most of gymnosperm they lack the vessels, right? Vessels are absent. ये हमने देखा था, but exception case like in case of the Nettles group, in case of the Nettles group, example that is Netum, that is Welwitschia and Ephedra. These are the 3 example of the genus where vessels are present. Those are come under the exception case. Second point हमने देखा था, if vessels are present, it means that very small size pores are present. That pores basically is called as the pith, which is responsible for the water conduction. So vessels, these are the most advanced pipeline for water conduction because it has the multiple ways. But when you compare this point with the tracheids basically on the single cell, and now that single cell they are responsible for the water conduction. So now I'm taking the exactly how that water it is showing conduction. Very simple manner. ठीक है, दोनों को compare करेंगे. We discuss about the primitive pipeline. Any problem?
Ma'am, can you explain the reparenchyma again? I got disconnected.
Yes, sure. Okay. Ray parenchyma means what? Basically, these are the one specific. Parenchyma means living cell. Ray means what? In a radial manner. So such parenchyma, obviously, they are having major function, that is food storage. And now how they are showing the food storage? They can supply food to the surrounding cell, which is present in a radius, single radius, and in front, back, left, right, in all direction in a radial manner. Whatever cells are present, all cells they get food from the ray parenchyma. So obviously one function, food storage in a horizontal manner or in a radial manner. Another one, ray parenchyma also they responsible for the water conduction. Who performing the function of the water conduction? Vertical system, that is axial system. Vessels are there, tracheids are there. These are the major cell who responsible for the conduction of the water in a vertical direction from bottom to top. But the ray parenchyma basically they responsible for the water conduction in a horizontal manner. जितने भी surrounding में cells present है, all those surrounding cells they get water from ray parenchyma. So obviously whenever we are using the word parenchyma, major function होगा food storage. But here we are taking a very unique function that ray parenchyma they also responsible for the water conduction but in a radial manner. Got it? हम ये आगे देखेंगे. When we talk about the anatomy diagrammatic part, that time we'll discuss all these cells in diagram where the exactly cells are present. Got it? Okay, Janil. So next part, quickly I'm telling you xylem and the phloem difference. If you want, you can write down. Otherwise, no need. I'll just try to explain what is the exactly how the inside the tracheids, that water they are showing the conduction from the one place to another place. And now we are talking about the next part. In case of the vessels, how they are showing the water conduction. So एक simple way, हाँ, a simple way whenever we are talking about the tracheids basically these are the primitive one, and the vessels basically these are the advanced one. So quickly I'm taking the diagrammatic representation. What happened in case of the tracheids? You know very well, tracheids basically these are the major pipeline in gymnospermic plant, because in most of gymnosperm vessels are absent. So these tracheids they are present in gymnosperm, and these are the major for the water conduction, as well as tracheids they present in angiosperm. But in case of this angiosperm, it has very minor role. When you compare with the vessels, in mostly I'm talking about, not all, mostly in case of the gymnosperm, such such type of the advanced pipeline, that is vessels, are absent. But when you compare this point with the angiosperm, so in case of the angiosperm, obviously these are the major pipeline for the water conduction. So now I'm taking what is the exactly condition with respect to tracheids. Tracheids basically it is a single cell, long elongated with the tapering gate. Suppose these are the single cell. Inside this single cell यहाँ पे present है a line of peat. Suppose यहाँ पे peat है. So ये है single peat, and you know very well peat nothing but it has the very small pore. Pore is present for movement of water. So water can move easily through the peat, because peat it is without lignin. Lignin is totally absent. So in this point of view, we are talking about how that water it is get conduct. Suppose we are talking about through peat water can easily move. यहाँ से water का entry हुआ from the bottom. So water it is get entered through peat. Now that water they can easily transfer the water from bottom to top. Yes. So now we are talking about this green color. Green color, nothing but we are talking about these are the movement of water. So obviously from one pit to another pit, now the third pit, fourth pit, water it is get transfer from bottom to top. तो normally इसी तरह से होता है. So when we are talking about the gymnosperm, this tracheids which is a single cell who having the pit where water can showing the movement via that through that small pore. So in this point of view, definitely we are talking about these are the major cell in case of the gymnosperm. But in case of the angiosperm also they are present, no doubt, but not major role. They are performing the minor role. So ये हो गया in case of the tracheids. What problem with the help of the tracheids? Why there is a need of vessels? Because you know that evolution कब proceed होगा? जब need होगी. If there is a no need, ultimately that part it is become vestigial. It is removed from the body. But why there is a requirement of the vessels? If you discuss about the gymnosperm, most of the gymnosperm they lack the vessels, because क्या हो गया था? Already tracheids are present, but nature realized that yes, there is another pipeline, advanced pipeline they require. Why is that the requirement? Suppose water transfer हो रहा है, no problem. You know very well, gymnospermic plant they are very large plant. जैसे हम कहते हैं conifer हो गया, now the pinus plant, now the ephedra plant. Basically, they are having the very long size, long height. In case, suppose due to any pressure, if there is a formation of the bubble, हो गया, मान लो ये जो हमारा पीठ है, this pit, this one pit, यार कोई तो डार्क चाहिए यार. Suppose ये लेते हाँ. Suppose these are the this one pit, single pit. This pit it is get block, हो गया block, because you know very well if you are taking the pipeline and if pipeline we attach to the motor और जैसे हम plug को on करेंगे, so initially what happen, if pressure is not balanced, that time they form a bubbles. There is a formation of the bubbles inside the pipeline. ये होता है, it's a normal scenario, right? Similarly, suppose water is showing transportation, water is showing movement from bottom to top, and accidentally bubble create हो गया, right? Air bubble, and due to that bubble, now that pit it is get blocked. what happened? Suppose peat block due to air bubble. Tell me, अब क्या होगा? What do you think? What happened? Jalil, 1 second. Just think what happened. एक ही pipeline है, single pipeline is there, but at the middle stage now there is a formation of the bubble, air bubble, and that air bubble they block the peat. What happened? You can on your mic and tell me. अरे क्या होगा? Just think. अरे पाइपलाइन है, घर में मोटर ऑन किया है, आपने पैर
Water movement will disrupt.
हाँ, और in other language what you think? Water supply toward the upward direction, yes or no? Is this water supply toward the upward direction? Suppose यहाँ पे block हुआ है, this speed it is get blocked at this point. Now what happened toward the above that cells, whatever the cells are present above that block, what happened with that? Ultimately they become dead, they die due to lack of water. Yes or no? Because there is only single pipeline, there is no multiple
Yes, ma'am.
way, only single way. घर में pipeline लगाई हुई है, मान लो कि हेरम ने पाइप के ऊपर पैर दे दिया, what happened? Water will be supplied? No, there is no supply above that blockage. Same problem happened with the tracheids. That's why nature required the another alternate way. if अगर blockage हो रहा है, right, is this blockage, so how to find out that, how to solve that blockage? So no doubt obviously क्या होता है, in case of the gymnospermic plant there is a blockage condition is very common because they having only tracheids, but after some time that blockage problem gets solved, whatever the air bubbles get formed, that air bubble it is easily get dissolved, that is a different thing. But nature को ये पता चला tracheids से कुछ नहीं होता, we want a multiple way, that's why there is a formation of the vessels. So if you talk about the vessels basically it's having the multiple ways for the water transportation because it is association of the many cell, these are the union of the many cell. Suppose a vessel say, and vessels, in case of the vessels what is the major condition, whatever we are talking about, the cells, that is peat, basically peat where water is to get transferred, all those peat basically they present towards the wall, तो peat यहाँ पे present होगा. First of all, don't write this information. I'm telling you, try to understand what is the exactly difference between the tracheids and the vessels. So if you understand the basic difference, आप कुछ भी लिख सकते हो. So you can link the different things also. So we are talking about the peat, and peat where it is present, they are present on the wall. जहाँ जहाँ पे wall होगा, toward the upward, left, right, bottom, here, there, everywhere. Towards this wall, peat are present. So these are the one cell, two cell, third cell. Now I'm talking about these are the fourth one, fifth cell में भी present होगा, obvious है. जहाँ जहाँ पे wall present होगा, towards this wall entire peat are present where several peats are present, several peats. Suppose water का transfer हो रहा है, यहाँ से water की entry हो गई. Now this water it is get entered. Now it will be showing the movement. Suppose ये left भी जाएगा. Now it will be go towards this route right one. Now they go towards this left side, right side, means multiple ways are available. So is this any blockage? Suppose accidentally अगर ये block हो गया, suppose this single that pit it is get blocked, what happen? Water के पास अभी भी चांस है, कोई बात नहीं, एक पिट ब्लॉक हो गया, चलो मैं ऊपर से डाउन अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन में जाके देन आई कम डाउनवर्ड, क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है? नथिंग एल्स. सो इफ दिस ब्लॉक इज गेट ब्लॉक, दिस पिट वन इज गेट ब्लॉक, अल्टीमेटली now that water it will be showing movement from this direction. So now what's the problem? What is the exactly glory of the vessels? Vessels, these are the union of the several cells. Several pits are available. Or agar single pit it is get blocked, now multiple ways are available for the conduction of the water toward the upward direction. So in this condition, why vessel it is get developed? Why we are talking about vessel? These are the most advanced pipeline because multiple ways are available. It's not a single cell. Tracheids, these are the single cell. Normally what happens, single cell है, and now the direction, the movement of the water in a single direction. There is no multiple way in case of the tracheids. So अगर blockage का problem हो रहा है, temporary, obviously water movement get blocked. Temporary, not permanent, because in gymnospermic plant उनके पास इसका solution है. अगर ब्लॉक हो रहा है, so how to solve that problem? So gymnospermic plant, they has that solution. But in this condition, nature understood one thing: after the gymnosperm, अगर angiosperm form हो रहा है, so there is a necessary a good water conduction movement or good water conduction facility, and that's why facilities get evolved in specifically in case of the angiospermic plant. Okay, and in case of the vessels, why we are talking about these are the most advanced pipeline? Because एक तो पहले तो क्या angiosperm में present है, all angiospermic plant most ofly they having such condition of the vessels are present, and in case of the vessels, multiple ways are available for water conduction. Got it? Got it? Just try to understand the basic concept. Each and every concept you can't remember, it means you can't read each and every concept, so try to remember, try to understand. Okay, simple meaning. So whatever the blockage problem it is created in the tracheids, so that blockage problem basically is solved in case of the vessel. That's why vessel is called as the most advanced pipeline. Chalo, done this part. So finish it and let me know. Just 1 second. These are the end with the xylem. Now we start with the next part, that is phloem. Types of the phloem. Now the functions of the phloem cell, and primary phloem, secondary phloem, protophlloem, metaphlloem, everything. Done. Done this writing part. Okay, sure. Now start with the next part, that is phloem part. Start from the new page because we are talking about the types of the phloem, what kind of the phloem present in gymnosperm as well as the angiosperm, and quickly we are taking the some part. ये जो part है phloem part, it's important because when we start with the transport chapter, transport in plant, that time ये फिर से point repeat होगा. So try to understand phloem right now because xylem तो समझ में आ जाता है, simple funda है, but there is some complications with respect to phloem, so you have to remember this point. चलो. So write down the title. We are talking about next part, that is phloem part. Which is responsible for food conduction, and phloem also called as bast. These are also called as the bast cell. Okay. So obviously, first of all, we are talking about that is 4 types of phloem. Hmm? 4 types of the phloem. Number one, first of all, we talk about 4 types of the phloem in case of the angiosperm. Then we discuss this part with gymnosperm. So पहले हम बात करेंगे with angiosperm. That is flowering plant in dicot and the monocot. So 4 types of the cell. Number one, we are talking about first one. There is a presence of the sieve tube. Sieve tube. Okay. Number second, we are talking about companion cell. Companion cell. Number third, phloem parenchyma. Phloem parenchyma. And the fourth one, phloem fiber. Phloem fiber. So 4 types of the cell, that is sieves to filament. Now we are talking about there is a presence of the companion cell. Now there is a presence of the phloem parenchyma, and finally we are talking about that is phloem fiber. So quickly we are taking the all part with respect to phloem. So first of all, we are talking about sieves tube element. Obviously, sieves tube element, these are the living cell. The first part, yes, it is living. Companion cell, yes, these are the living. Parenchyma, yes, these are the living. And whenever we are using the word for the fiber, so you know very well, fiber, these are the dead because of there is a deposition of the lignin inside the cell wall. Whatever the material is present, means protoplasm, nucleoplasm, cytoplasm, all those material it is converted into dead. They become dry. So when you talk about the xylem, हमने xylem में clear cut mention किया था, out of 4 cells, 3 cells are dead, only xylem parenchyma living. Here we are talking about, here also there is a 4 cell. Out of 4 cell, 3 cells are living. Sieves tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, 3 cells are living and only single fiber is dead. Exactly reverse है in case of the xylem and the phloem. Okay? In case of the xylem, maximum dead cells are present and only single living. Here we are talking about only single dead and maximum cells are living, because what is the main function of the phloem? फूड कंडक्शन. तो फूड का कंडक्शन करना है मतलब फूड को सिंथेसाइज भी करना पड़ेगा, मींस फोटोसिंथेसिस करना पड़ेगा. And if any cell they are performing a specific kind of the function, it means that that cells are living. So here we are talking about 3 cells are living and 1 cell basically they are dead. Second point, now we are talking about the cell wall composition. Obviously, if cells are living, it means that cell wall thin. So in case of, first of all, we are talking about the cell wall. I'm writing just CW, you know very well, CW, that is cell wall. Cell wall thin in case of the sieves tube. Similarly, in case of the companion cell, cell wall is thin because cells are living. Phloem parenchyma, cell wall is thin. But whenever we compare this point with fiber, so cell wall is a thick because it's a dead cell due to deposition of material, that is lignin. So 3 cells, they has the thin cell wall, only 1 it has dead, sorry, thick cell wall. So it's a dead, something different. Now we are talking about function. When we are talking about the sieves tube basically it is responsible for the food transportation. Major function, food transportation. Simple question is, suppose obviously we are talking about phloem. Phloem means what? Food conduction. पहले तो food को synthesize करना पड़ेगा. And that part means we are talking about that is leaf. Leaf, it is performing the photosynthesis. Green part of the plant, they are performing the photosynthesis. So simple question, out of that 4 cells, out of sieves tube, out of companion cell, out of phloem parenchyma and the phloem fiber, out of this 4 cell, which one the cell who provide food to the root? क्वेश्चन समझ में आ रहा है? आउट ऑफ दिस 4 सेल, ऐसी कौन सी सेल है, विच वन द सेल हु प्रोवाइड फूड टू द रूट, रूट तक कौन जाएगा, हु फॉर्म अ नेटवर्क, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली व्हेनेवर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द पेरेन्काइमा ये सब कुछ ग्रीन होगा, दे प्रेजेंट अबव द सेल्स बिकॉज these are the green, these are the living cells. So out of this one, which one is the cell who provide food to the root, because root it is present underground, there is a no light, there is a no any green soil underground. So tell me, out of this four cell, who provide food to entire system? No यश, फ्लोएम पेरेन्काइमा बेसिकली वो ग्रीन कलर का पार्ट होता है. Answer is Seuss tube. Remember this point. Answer is Seuss tube. Seuss tube, these are the major cell who responsible for the food conduction. Seuss cell, suppose कि अगर leaf है, leaf में अगर food synthesize हो रहा है, so from that leaf portion, they can provide a food to flower, they can provide a food to fruit, as well as they can provide a food toward the root also. Because Seuss tube है, they form a network, and each and every cell, whatever green part to non-green part, whatever the food gets supplied, that food gets supplied with the help of the Seuss tube. Remember this point, Seuss tube, these are the major cell who provide food to non-green portion, because Seuss tube they form a network. और जितना भी cells है, for example flower है, flower they are not performing the photosynthesis, fruit also they are, fruit also not performing the photosynthesis, even root also they are not performing the photosynthesis, but still they require a food, still they require a sucrose. So who provide? Seuss tube. The major function of the food conduction, food transportation, it is performed by the Seuss tube. Remember this point. Okay Amod, ठीक है. So major function with the Seuss tube, that is food transportation. Number second, we are talking about what is the function of the companion cell. Companion cell basically they help to Seuss tube, helping का काम करेंगे. These are the helper cell. So companion cell simply they help to Seuss tube. Now parenchyma है, obviously major function, that is storage of food. And the last one, fiber, means they provide mechanical support. That's it. So these are the exactly function with respect to their cell. Specifically, we are talking about the angiosperm, because inside the angiosperm, Seuss tube be present hoga, companion cells also present, phloem parenchyma also present, phloem fiber also present. On the basis of their activity, they are performing the different function. तो हम इसको आगे डिटेल में देखेंगे. Yeah. So this part is done. Now we are talking about four types of the phloem which is present in gymnosperm. Second part. Should I continue? Should I continue? Okay. So next point, write down four types of phloem in case of gymnospermic plants. Specifically, we are talking about in case of the gymnosperm. Because gymnosperm का थोड़ा फंडा अलग है. That's why. So initially we are talking about first cell. There is a presence of the Seuss, but not tube. Seuss cell present होगा. Cell means what? Single cell, not tube. Tube means what? Element. Many cells they get associated, they form a network. We'll discuss that part later in detail. But here we are talking about there is a presence of the only Seuss cell, not tube. Okay, Seuss cell. Now number second, companion cells नहीं होगा यहाँ पे. There is a presence of the albuminous cell. Albuminous cell. Now third one, yes, there is a presence of the phloem parenchyma. And the fourth one, there is a presence of the Okay, Madhura, got it. Now sound is clear. Better. Hai? Okay, Madhura. Okay. So we are not taking any function. We are not taking any living part because whatever the information is given, all this information as it is similar to gymnosperm. But here we are talking about seed cell. Basically, these are the analogous. Analogous means what? Whatever the living cell, cell wall, function, सब कुछ similar होगा. But यहाँ पे नाम change हुआ. Name it is get changed. So we are talking about they are analogous. Analogous to seed tube. Whatever the function Seuss tube it is performing in angiospermic plant, same function it is performing in gymnosperm. Similarly, albuminous cell, these are the analogous to companion cell. So companion cell, whatever function is performing in angiosperm, all those function it is performing in gymnospermic plant by the albuminous cell. So basically they are analogous. Name change हुआ है because seed cell and the albuminous cell these are the specifically present in case of the gymnospermic plant. While when you talk about the angiosperm, because obvious होगा something else get modified. हम आगे देखेंगे what kind of this modification is occur like tracheids and the vessels. So in case of the gymnospermic plant, seed cell and albuminous cells are present. Exactly when you compare with this point with the angiospermic plant, seed tube and companion cells are present. Got it?
Then
Clear?
the function will be same.
Huh. Function will be same, cell wall composition same, living state, dead state, everything will be same. Even function also same. Everything is same. Change क्या हुआ? Only name get change. Seed tube specifically we are using in angiosperm. Seed cell specifically we are using for the gymnosperm. Albuminous cell for the gymno, companion cell for the angio. Rest of portion is exactly similar to all. मतलब function same, obviously, and as well as cell wall composition same, living state also same, no change.
Ma'am, then why the names are different?
Obviously कुछ तो problem हुआ ना nature. See, initially what happens, seed cell is present. Seed cell it is not capable, no, capable in the sense not that much capable for the food conduction. So nature को ऐसे लगा कि और कुछ तो advance और कुछ तो complex system चाहिए, multiple way for the food conduction is required. That's why there is a formation of the seed tube. Similarly for the companion cell, albuminous cell help कर रहा था, but now helper means requirement is something modified because angiosperm form हो रहा है. And obviously angiosperm means there is a new era, new plant get developed. So nature को नहीं check किया ये default है, चलो इसको थोड़ा सा modified करो. Got it? So modification is required, some advanced system is required because it has something. जैसे हमने देखा था in case of the tracheids there is some problem. Similarly in case of the seed cell and the albuminous cell there is a problem. That's why it's get modified and converted into seed tube and the companion cell. Got it?
Yes, ma'am, got it.
सिंपल है, नेचर का यही रूल है. अगर मॉडिफिकेशन चाहिए तो मॉडिफाइड करो, राइट? अगर बेटर वर्जन बन रहा है तो उसको बनाओ, और अगर कोई यूज ही नहीं है देन इट इज बिकम पार्ट ऑफ वेस्टेजन, हटाओ उसको. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड एज द इवोल्यूशन. डन? चलो, एनी डाउट? एनी डाउट? Okay, Sanya. Okay. So with this we end today's session. कल क्लास है हाँ फला क्लासेस हाँ so tomorrow we start with the Seuss tube with detailed diagrammatic representation, companion cell with detail. Again similarly we compare this point with the Seuss cell and the albuminous cell. Means tomorrow we'll cover the phloem part, entire phloem part. Yeah, okay. So any doubt from today's class? No. Okay, chalo. Yeah, thank you so much.